Hey guys, Karasif here with another review. This time I'll be reviewing the Deluxe Time Mazine and OOO's Ride Watch from Kamen GO. This is GO's 2-mode time machine and a new watch you can use for armor time. So, let's get started. First we'll look at the OOO's Ride Watch. This watch is yellow and green, though including the sticker in the middle, we get red, yellow, and green. The colors to OOO's Tadawa combo. Up here we have OOO's Tadawa's combo symbol, and then the year 2010 down at the bottom. If we rotate the dial, we get the Taga head from OOO's Tadawa combo. Then we'll activate the two sounds it makes on its own. First the name, then the rider description. Make a Mel combo with Taga, Tora, and Batta. The animal power rider is OOO's. Next, we'll use the OOO's watch for armor time, starting with GO. And then we get the transmission for Kamen OOO's, or Kamen GO, OOO's armor. Then we'll activate finish time. That activates the scanning time break. Next, we'll switch in gates. And this time we get the transmission for Kamen Gates OOO's armor. And time for finish time again. And this time we get the scanning time burst. After that, we'll use the OOO's watch with the Jikangi raid for the weapon finish time. Next, we'll look at the Time Mazine itself, whose name is a combination of Time Machine and Mazine, a word that's been used to refer to some other giant robots in the past, such as the classic Mazinger Z, which also has the whole switching out G for Z in English, as well as the Majin from Maho Sentai Magi Ranger, or Kyuta Majin from Uchu Sentai Q Ranger. This is basically a giant robot designed with a color scheme similar to Kamen GO itself. Or himself, rather. Being mainly black, gray, silver, and pink. For the head, you can see this kind of dummy ride watch. It's obviously designed after the GO ride watch, which serves as the head and face. On the body, it does the same thing as basically all the other stuff from GO, where it has some self-identifying by having Robo written in katakana on the chest. Robo. Got the shoulder pads here, the arms, hips, legs, and you can see some things on it, like these boosters on the sides. As well as this interesting detail on the back where it has this section here which looks like a seat, which will come into play a little bit later. Or at least kind of. For a little size comparison, here is the Time Mazine next to Lupin Kaiser. As you can see, it stands quite a bit taller than Lupin Kaiser. So articulation-wise, in battle mode, you can actually take this piece and swivel it side to side. The arms can be rotated all the way around on a ratchet joint. Got some ratchets to move it outside to side. A rotating bicep, or kind of an elbow rotation rather. A ratcheted elbow joint. A wrist swivel. Hip joints that move out forward and back to different points. A thigh swivel, and then jointed knees. Now in battle mode, there are a few things you can do. The first big feature is that you can take out this dummy ride watch, then place in an actual ride watch. So for the default, we'll use the deluxe GO ride watch. Or we can get a proper look at the head. You can see it fully filled out. And so now this is an appropriate way to activate the Time Mazine sound in the GO ride watch. Though obviously, as you can see here, this does have a more complete face, so if you want to have this on display like this, it might actually help to buy a gachapon or candy toy version of the GO ride watch so we have this complete face and don't have the whole intercut sections for the lights. Next thing you can do is they actually open up this panel on the front to reveal a cockpit. And with that, you can take your RKF Kamen Rider GO and actually place it inside. And for another size comparison, you can see that the GO figure only comes up to about the knees. So it definitely is very big by comparison, and while it doesn't scale perfectly, it is nice that there's enough room to actually put it inside. So you're just going to want to kind of bend in the arms a little bit, slide in the legs, and then clip it in at the waist. There you have it inside. And you can close it up, and you get a fully formed Time Mazine battle mode. And so like this, you can actually see the legs kind of coming out from here. Though additionally, while having it inside, you can only bend the legs forward a little bit forward and a little bit back, since these are in here, and obviously it does limit it, since you're moving both the legs of the Time Mazine and of the figure inside. Additionally, it has a couple little clips on these arm attachments. And what you can do with them is that you can take the drill weapon from the Rider Armor series build armor, then clip it on like this. Now while this is a cool idea, it doesn't work that well because A, the drill is horribly undersized for this robot, and B, because this part doesn't rotate, you have the drill at this weird angle where it's not facing straight forward or it's not parallel to the rest of the forearm. Now, as I've said, this thing has 2 modes. So, to change the other mode, we're going to start by removing the ride watch. Though you can also place in other ride watches, like the O's ride watch. Just like that. So, change modes, the first thing you want to do is take the forearms and rotate them so these attachments are forward. Take these pieces on the shoulders, rotate them around on these joints, and take the fists and rotate them inwards. Then we're going to take the shoulder pieces and fold them inwards, clicking them together at the top part and at the attachments. Then we'll take this entire section and rotate it upwards. Then we'll bend each knee 1 click. And here we have the Time Machine vehicle mode. This is where it acts as a time machine, as well as a general mode of transport for GO. You now said these become the cockpit, whereas this is kind of a little booster engine. And this is really where the thrusters on the legs attach. You can also see that the knee pads become these little kind of sliding pieces to help give it bounce. Though that being said, it does have a kind of awkward look to it because you can tell that's just the robot in this kind of stretched out position on its belly. Now, as I pointed out in battle mode, it does have an actual cockpit section here. The thing about it, though, is that GO never actually rides on this part, and as you can see, there are no proper handles for him to hold on. While these are molded on handlebars, they're too big for the actual hands to fit, and the seat is too wide for him to be able to properly ride. But it is still an interesting transformation, and it is one that's definitely a lot easier for me to display on camera since it's stretching out sideways rather than vertically. And as you can see, you can still have the figure in here, but just to kind of get across my point as to what I meant by it not being really able to ride it this other way, we take the figure and kind of try to bring his arms upward like this and get him in something of a riding position. You can try to put him on like this, but it does look a little bit awkward, and as you can see, it is a very wide seat, so it looks a little bit more like he's clinging on for dear life rather than actually riding this thing. And there we go. Overall, while this is a pretty cool set, it also feels a bit lacking. The O's ride watch is pretty standard fare for ride watches, meaning it has some good lights and sounds, and good compatibility with the other toys. It's the Time Machine itself where things start to get iffy. While it does have a very impressive size and some pretty good articulation, I feel like it needs a bit more. Specifically in the legs, because you can only move them forward and back, and so you can't get it in too dynamic of poses because you can't move the legs outward, so you have to really be careful or else it's going to fall over. As far as the other features go, it is cool that you can switch in other ride watches, though it would have been nice if it perhaps had some way to unlock some hidden sounds in the ride watches, or at least for the GO ride watch, or even had some built-in sound itself to help kind of compensate and add in a little bit more to the sound department. While the transformation is nice, it actually does seem like a bit of a missed opportunity to not be able to actually attach the figure onto the back where it has that seat. And I actually think it would be cool to see it like that, since the only way you're going to use a figure with it is to store the figure inside where you can't even see it that much. I would say that the biggest downside to it is the very lacking weapon attachment feature. You can only really use one weapon, and it doesn't even go on straight. Not to mention it's undersized, and the thing about it is that in the most recent episode of the series, which is the one tied to the release of this toy, Geo actually used it with the OOO's Ride Watch, and it gave the Time Machine a pair of big Tora claws, and it would have been nice if perhaps it came with set attachments, and they were properly sized to go on the arms. That would have made it a lot nicer, and it would have been cool if we had perhaps some extra packs that came with some different weapons to attach to the Time Machine. That being said, it is a nice display piece, and it is cool that it has that transformation, even if it's not the greatest of transformations. So, overall, this is a set that's unfortunately a bit hard to recommend. The biggest draw point is definitely the Deluxe OOO's Ride Watch, but it is tagged in with this much bigger item that puts the price point a lot higher than your standard Ride Watch. If you really need all the Deluxe Ride Watches, you really want them all, and this does seem satisfying enough to you, I definitely recommend it. Otherwise, it might be better to look into getting a Gachapon or candy toy version of the OOO's Ride Watch. Next time, I'll be reviewing the Deluxe Victory Striker, Sunday at 6 p.m. PST. So, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And if you're new and would like to see more, please subscribe and hit the bell icon. And for now, this is KRX50, writing off.